The case of the bike gang being good. James Brogan was locking up the office after a long, quiet Thursday when the roar of motorcycles filled the street. Not the usual thunder of weekend warriors. This was a tight, disciplined pack of about a dozen bikes pulling up in formation outside his building. The lead rider killed the engine, swung off a matte black Harley and removed his helmet. Late 30s, scarred knuckles, a faded Iron Vipers patch on his vest, but his eyes were steady and surprisingly calm. Brogan, name's Razor, we need your help quietly. Brogan leaned against the doorframe, cigarette already between his lips. Iron Vipers don't usually hire private eyes. They handle their own problems with chains and exhaust pipes. Razor gave a short laugh. Not this time. We've been trying to go straight for the last year. Legit custom bike shop in Dorchester, charity runs for kids with cancer, toy drives at Christmas. Most of the old crew is on board, but someone's been hitting our community projects. Last week they torched the shed where we store donated bikes for underprivileged kids. Night before that, someone slashed every tire at the shop and left a note. Vipers belong in the gutter. Brogan raised an eyebrow. Sounds like someone wants you back in the old life. Exactly. We could handle it the old way, find them and make it hurt, but that'd undo everything we've built. Cops don't care much about biker charity trouble. So we're asking you to find out who's trying to drag us back down. We'll pay your rate, no questions, and we stay clean while you work. Brogan took the case. Something about a motorcycle gang trying to do good in a city that expected the worst from them felt worth poking at. He started with the obvious, rival clubs, but after a night of careful conversations in neutral bars, it turned out none of the usual suspects were involved. The attacks were too precise, too personal. Someone who knew the Vipers knew routines. The break came from a teenage kid at the bike shop. He'd seen a silver SUV with out-of-state plates hanging around the charity events. Brogan ran the partial plate and found it belonged to a mid-level developer named Harlan Fisk, who was pushing hard to buy up the cheap industrial block where the Vipers had their shop and storage yard. Fisk wanted the land for luxury condos. The Vipers, legitimate business and their visible community presence, were making the neighborhood fight the rezoning. Brogan paid Fisk a visit at his office in a gleaming Seaport high-rise. He laid out the evidence. Security, cam footage he'd sweet-talked from a nearby warehouse, witness statements, and the timing of the attacks matching Fisk's permit hearings. You're trying to make the Vipers look like the same old thugs so the city turns against them, Brogan said flatly. Burning kids' bikes was a new low. Fisk smirked until Brogan slid a folder across the desk, photos of the damage, and a quiet note that the Iron Vipers had friends in the fire marshal's office and the local news who would love this story. The developer went pale. By the next afternoon, the harassment stopped. Fisk quietly withdrew his rezoning application, and the silver SUV disappeared from Dorchester. 2 nights later, Razor showed up again, this time with a small crew and a custom soft-tail chopper, painted midnight blue with subtle silver accents. "Shop did this one special for you," Razor said, handing over the keys. "No charge. You ever need backup that stays on the right side of the law, you call us." Brogan ran a hand along the tank, genuinely impressed. "Didn't think I'd see the day a gang paid me in honest work and a clean bike." Razor grinned. "We're not a gang anymore, Brogan. Just guys who ride and try to leave the neighborhood better than we found it. Turns out doing good feels better than doing time." As the Vipers rumbled off into the night, Brogan sat on the new bike under the streetlight, the engine still warm. Another case closed without bloodshed, without payoffs, without the usual darkness. Sometimes the city surprised you. Sometimes the people everyone wrote off as trouble turned out to be the ones quietly holding things together. Just another Thursday night for James Brogan.